right, so 3 nines, how does that simplify? 1/3. So that is just 1/3 because they both divide by 3, right? Or if you want to think about it, you could say this is 3 times 1 divided by 3 times 3, cancel out one of the 3's, right? Okay. What about 15 times 10 times 7 divided by 21 times 75? Nah, we don't want to multiply them out. But I mean, like, why do we not want to multiply them out? Because then I've got to find the numbers that go into them. Right now, well, what do you want to do? Huh? Okay, so 7 and 21, that leaves me with a 3 in the denominator. So what are you saying? 15 and 3, okay, 15 divided by 3 is 5. Five goes into 75 how many times? Okay. 15 times? Ten and 15 divided by 5 how many times? So the whole answer is 2/3. So let me tell you how I would have done it. I'd have broken them down and said, this is 5 times 3, this is 5 times 2, this is 7. This is 3 times 7, this is 25 times 3, which is 5 times 5 times 3. So one of those 3's, one of those 3's, the 7 and the 7, 2 5's with 2 5's, 2/3 is the answer. Okay, so guys, I broke it down into its basic factors, which is what we're going to want to think about when we do simplifying rational expressions. Okay. So, or one of you could go to the front table with Leah. She's very terrible, but you could try. Sorry, Leah, I just said you were terrible on video. Okay. Alright, so guys, simplify 25x to the 4th over 60x cubed. What are you going to do? 25 is 5 times 5, and 60 is 5 times what? So we're left with 5/12. What about the x's? We're good. We subtract the powers, 4 minus 3, or we just say we're left with 1 on the top, right? So this is 5x divided by 12. Okay. What about the next expression? Really? What is something divided by itself? 1. And guys, we're not talking about the x's cancel out and the 3's cancel out. If you do that, you're fired. This is x plus 3 divided by x plus 3. I agree, that expression is 1. But when is it not 1? When x equals negative 3, that's not 1. If x equals negative 3, you got 0 over 0. What is that? That's actually indeterminate. 0 divided by 0 is indeterminate, meaning we cannot determine what it is. So that would just be, like we would say, that's undefined at negative 3. What about this expression? When is that not true? When is it not 5x over 12? When x equals 0. So x cannot equal 0, and here x cannot equal negative 3. And if it does, then it's undefined. Okay? X cannot equal 0 in order for this to be true. But anyway, something to think about. If you want to label it, this is 6.3, simplifying rational expressions. Yep, we will. Yeah, as we go through these, when we start simplifying, we'll have to also make sure we denote when it's not true. Okay, simplifying rational expressions. Are we good? Guys, what does rational make you think of? Rational numbers are no irrational, but they can be fractions. So whole numbers, integers, positive and negative, fractions, not irrational, square roots, and pi and e, right? Okay. All right, so the first one we're going to do is this top one. It says, simplify and state the excluded values. So the first one is 9x divided by 15x squared minus 12x. Okay. So like I did with the numbers on that example, I want to factor it out. So is there anything I can factor in the numerator? I mean, I could say it's 3 times 3x, right? But we don't need to write that down. We'll know it anyway. Is there anything I can factor in the denominator? I can factor out a common factor of 3x. What am I left with? Okay, so can I simplify? Actually, just kidding. Right here is where we're going to go ahead and state the excluded values. So as soon as you factor the denominator, I would go ahead and state the excluded values, but not with that pen. So what are the excluded values? What can x not equal? And? Positive 4/5. 3 times 0 gives me 0, and if this is a 4/5, you can do the reverse bottoms up and put the 5 down here, and the opposite of negative 4/5 is positive 4/5, right? Or just set it equal to 0 and solve. But anyway, now we need to simplify. So what simplifies out? 3, and I'm left with 3, and the x's. So your final answer is 3 over 5x minus 4, and then you have to state the excluded value. So those are the answers I'm looking for. Oh, it's just whenever whatever x values make the denominator equal 0. So basically the zeros of the denominator. 3 times 0, and then this, if I set that equal to 0, to add 4 and divide by 5, so 4/5.
So, like on bigger equations, we have to solve for x, or we have to set it equal to 0?
We might, yeah. Okay, so this one. X plus 5 over 5x plus 25. So what do we do? On the denominator? So x plus 5 over 5 times x plus 5. Can we go ahead and state our excluded values? What can x not equal? Really?
No, negative 5.
Just negative 5. It doesn't have an x with the 5, right?
Yeah.
So x cannot equal negative 5. You're forgiven. And now what simplifies? X plus 5 over x plus 5. Am I left with anything in the numerator? Yes, because something divided by itself is 1. So the answer is 1/5, and the excluded value is negative 5. No, it's not. This is, it's definitely difficult. Okay, what do I do now?
Set up following vector to the
So, okay, guys, in the past 2 ones, we've really only had to factor one of the expressions. Now, here I need to factor both, right? So what would you factor in the, how would you factor the numerator?
x minus 4 plus 3,
Okay, the factors of negative 12 that add up to negative 1 are negative 4 and positive 3.
Yeah.
All right, what about the denominator? What can you factor out? And you're left with 4 minus x. Okay. Can we state the excluded values?
Yes, ma'am.
X cannot equal
0.
positive 4, because 4 minus 4 would give me 0. Okay, does anything simplify? We've got x minus 4, we've got 4 minus x. They are almost the same thing, but they're not. But what if I factor out a negative 1 from x minus 4? What would that become? Negative x plus 4. I hope you're writing that down.
Oh, yeah.
So I factored out a negative 1, and I'm left with negative x plus 4, right? Isn't that the same thing as 4 minus x? Okay, so if they are the exact opposite of each other, then factor out a negative from one to the other. Why did I choose to factor out the negative from the top as opposed to the bottom? Yeah, I didn't want to have to put the negative on the bottom. I mean, I'm going to have to float it to the top anyway, but I could have. I just don't want to. Okay? So I'm always going to factor the negative out of the numerator if I can. And I'm just going to do that. Cancel out with that now. So what am I left with as my final expression? Okay, so he said negative x minus 3, so basically he distributed that, right? I don't really, actually no, I really do care. That would be my final answer. If I wrote that, then I would need to distribute it. So this and this is my answer. Mm-hmm. Yep. Because it's negative times x plus 3. Okay. So now let's do this one. This problem is your favorite? I thought so. For anyone on the video wondering whose favorite this is, that's Stephen Baker. He's been waiting on this problem his whole life. Okay. And now Elizabeth has a question. What's that?
Why is it not y to the x equals that makes sense?
Why can it equal negative 3?
Yes.
Because that would just make it equal to 0, and you can have a 0. Like, it can equal 0, it just can't be undefined. No, I'm glad you said that. I don't mind the numerator equaling 0. I do mind the denominator equaling 0. Okay, good. I'm glad you asked. Okay. So, this one right here, what are you going to factor? X out, and I'm left with what? Oh, okay.
I will be x squared, actually x squared.
Minus.
2x minus 8.
I wrote it up there because here I just want to write out the factors. I want to write the factors of what? Negative 8 that add up to negative 2. What are the factors of negative 8 that add up to negative 2? Okay. What about the denominator? What do we factor out? X cubed times x squared minus 6x plus 8. So we're looking for the factors of what? 8 that add up to negative 6, which are, some of you guys are being worthless right now. Okay, be quiet. Okay, so, stop lying to me. Excluded values, x cannot equal, I agree, 0, what? What? 4 and 2. Noah, here's the homework for today. I'm making a video for it. What happens?
Well, you cancel x minus 4 and
Okay, x minus 4 can simplify out. What else?
you can do x and
You can hang if you want. But 1x and 1x leave me with how many in the denominator? 2. So my final expression is x plus 2 over x squared times x minus 2. You know, I distributed that negative. Well,
Wait, how come the x plus 2 is x
remember, the only way that these two canceled out is they were the exact opposite. It was a positive x and a negative 4, a positive 4 and a negative x. These both have a positive x. That's a good question. These both have a positive x and a negative and a positive 2. So even if I factor a negative out of this, so if I did x plus 2 and I factored out a negative, I would be left with negative x minus 2, which is not the same thing. So I can't cancel those out. So I will go ahead and multiply that and say x plus 2 over x cubed minus 2x squared with the excluded values of this. So are we clear that you find the excluded values at the beginning, not after you simplify? Because if you waited till when you simplified, you would not be including the positive 4 as one of your excluded values. Factor, but before you simplify. Okay. Yep. All right. So let's do this one. Hey guys, the numerator is not in order, like as far as standard form. Do you want to put it in standard form? So, would you also like to factor out a number at the same time? What would you factor out? 2? So you're left with 2 times what? 5p squared plus 8p plus 3 divided by, what would you factor out of the denominator? 4? So 4 times what? Minus, okay. Shall we go ahead and simplify 2 and 4? They don't influence any zeros, right? Okay. What would you do in the numerator now? So factors of what? 15 that add up to 8. What are they? 5 and 3, but I would have to divide them by what? 5. So it becomes p plus 1 and 5p plus 3. Do y'all see where I got that? I said the factors of 15 that add up to 8 are 5 and 3, but I had to remember to divide them by 5. But if you wanted to write them out like p plus 5 and then p plus 3 and then divide it by 5, that's where I got those. Okay? What about the denominator? 2 times what? What are the factors of negative 2 that add up to negative 1? Negative 2 and positive 1. So can you tell me the excluded values? P cannot equal 2 and negative 1. Because positive 2 and negative 1, right? That's numerator, so I don't care, right? Does anything simplify? And so my final answer? Okay. So that is actually this, as long as p is not 2 or negative 1. Because if it is, then that is undefined. Does that make sense? Okay. Alright, so let's do another one. I think we've actually only got 2 more to do. Not including this one, sorry. 3 more to do. Okay, really 7 more to do. I can't count. Y'all work on this one for a second. Jones. The what? Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so so far I factored out the 6 in the numerator and the 2 in the denominator, and what about x squared minus 4? Does that factor? Yes, what do you call that? A difference of perfect squares. Okay, so it factors to x plus and x minus what? 2. The factors of negative 4 that add up to 0? Positive and negative 2. So what about the denominator? I'm trying to find the factors of what? 4 that add up to negative 5 and negative 1, negative 4. So that would be x minus 1 and x minus 4, but I would have to divide by what? 2. So, oh, I forgot my 3. Y'all are going to let me just be wrong. Okay. So, what about in the denominator? I'm left with 2x minus 1 and x minus 2, right? Okay, excluded values? Positive 1/2, yeah, you can just look at that one right there. Positive 1/2 and positive 2, x cannot equal. And what simplifies? Leaving me with? And there you go. This is especially important in knowing what simplifies and what doesn't, because guys, I see all the time people doing stuff like this and it makes me so mad. People are like, oh, I got x squared plus x over plus 7 over x squared plus 3. X squareds cancel out. Perfect. No. No, no, no. That makes me so mad. So mad. No. No. Okay. You can't do that. All right, here we go. This is interesting, isn't it? Yes, yes it is. I'll answer for you. This is not written as all like addition, subtraction, or all multiplication, so sorry, video, people are distracting me. So what should I do? I should simplify the expressions and then factor from there, which is what you meant to say, Stephen Baker. Okay, so what do I do? Hi, YouTube. Okay, so 3x squared minus 5x minus 2, which I can probably factor because I probably made it to where it does. Yes? What are the factors of negative 6 that add up to negative 5? Okay. Would be dangerous, which a lot of people pick, but they multiply to give you a positive, don't they? Okay. Negative 6 and 1, so it could be x minus 6 and x plus 1, but I got to remember to divide by 3. So this first one becomes what? X minus 2, and this one becomes 3x plus 1. So there's my numerator. All right, let's go back and work the other one. So, what do I do? Right, hey, do I just distribute the squares? X squared plus 1 squared?
No.
Thank you.
That's a big no-no.
That is a big no-no. So that's 2 times x squared plus x is 2x, and then plus 1 minus 18. So what do I need to do? Subtract 18 or multiply by 2 first?
No, you gotta subtract 18.
Okay, you're fired. So 2x squared plus 4x plus 2 minus 18. 2x squared plus 4x minus 16. What can I factor out of that? A 2. Factor the 2 back out. Which leaves me with x squared plus 2x minus 8. And are there factors of negative 8 that add up to positive 2? I don't want to wait on y'all. I'm just kidding. So there you go, right? So anytime I get something like this, I'm going to rewrite it as expressions I already know how to factor, and then I can find my excluded values. What are my excluded values? Cannot be negative 4 or positive 2. The x minus 2's cancel out. I assume you're with me on that. So 3x plus 1 over 2x plus 8. Oh! Sorry. Okay, we've only got one more. Sorry, I mispronounced 5. 5 more. Just kidding. Alright. X squared minus y squared over 9y minus 9x. What do you do? We factor. What do you factor? What do you know about x squared minus y squared? It's a difference of perfect squares. You guys are disappointments. Okay, so this is what? X minus y and x plus y. You're killing me. Okay. What do I do with the denominator? Okay. Yep. What do you notice? Anything?
Yes, ma'am. You can multiply negative 1 to the top.
Hey, what's the excluded value?
Y equals x.
Y cannot be x.
I mean,
Yeah? Okay, that's fun. Hey, I noticed that this is x minus y and this is y minus x.
You can multiply negative 1 to the top.
Factor out a negative, and what am I left with?
You can do that.
Which is the same thing as y minus x, right? What? I don't know what's going on over there.
I guess my pronunciation of multiply. I don't know.
That is so rude.
No.
No, for them.
No, it's okay.
Okay, it's not rude. Guys make fun of Eric, it's fine. Okay, so the y minus x and the y minus x cancel each other out. What am I left with? Huh? Huh? Okay, so negative x plus y over 9 or negative x minus y over 9. Don't forget the negative. Oh, let me actually show it. Alright, so now guys, you have your homework.
Awesome.
Yay! Okay, goodbye.
All right.